Hey guys, how are you? Today's accountability day. I hope all is well. And it's the middle of the week, Wednesday. So I hopefully everything's going well. I don't know if you saw the live yesterday. We made vegan um, crab cakes. And so if you didn't catch it, hopefully you can go back and look at it. It's on YouTube. Please, if you are watching through YouTube, hit like and subscribe so that you can check out the rest of my stuff. But today, I'm still working on like the structure of accountability Wednesday because I feel like there's a lot that I want to say, but then I start ranting and I don't get everything accomplished. So hopefully we'll have like a little bit more of a structure next week. But I was going to talk about, oh no, my plant broke. Hmm. I'm just seeing that. Hold on. Bruh. Guys. I am happy that this is coming in. Because this is all the other ones fell off except these two. So, and I just watered her and I still did not notice that. Excuse me. Probably just cut it off and plant it back in. I think, yeah. Or maybe put it in some water because I might have to cut it up actually. Aww, I didn't even realize it's kind of long. And the leaf up here died. Mm. Okay. Sorry, I just saw that. I'll have to deal with that later. I am happy about this one though. And I see a few other ones popping up. I really want this one to be full because I want them to look like um, these leaves. These are starting to get old. So I'm kind of nervous that they're going to start popping off, like, dying off. And then I won't have these leaves. So I'm hoping that more leaves will come like this. And this is a Florida ghost. It's a philodendron. Anyways, enough of that. Um, so yeah, and that's what I was talking about, like not having the structure and trying to make sure that we talk about all the things. But today I wanted to talk about just kind of doing what's right for you and making sure that you do what's right for you and what sounds good for you in terms of your own health and wellness journey. And I think I've kind of alluded to this, like I've done a plethora of things, like all the things that you can think of, all the diets that you can think of, especially with somebody that's being plus size pretty much all my life. And despite being athletic, I've always, had to deal with the ups and downs of weight gain, weight loss, mainly weight gain. And so now, like, trying to look at it through a different lens of health and wellness and what that looks like for me, because it may not necessarily mean that I'm losing all the weight, unfortunately. Like, as much as I am hoping to lose a certain amount of weight, like I've oftentimes stressed myself out to the point of no return trying to lose weight. Um and it's become like, at times it became unhealthy. And so, trying to be more in the mindset of appreciating what my body can do, and challenging my body, and making sure that I am um, eating well, because for me it's about quality of life. Can I do the things that I want to do? um, do I feel out of breath? Am I aching? um, and of course, some of those things, I have asthma, so like some of those things, like, you know can I do within um my ability to do, or whatever. And trying to like build up, you know and strengthen myself when I can. So that is like my goal. And I think at the end of the day, because I was thinking about this last night, is like, um is it, like, when you think of your own goals, is your goal quality or quantity, right? Because and that's anything in life, whether you're talking about, well, I'm in my 30s and I'm projecting from years to come. Do I want to live longer? Or the years that I think that I have, do I want to be agile, and do I want to have the ability to do all the things that I can do, um, either now, or be able to travel and get up and go and stuff like that. So um, I think in both instances, you are kind of doing the same thing, but it also depends on your health at that moment. Fit check. Are you talking about like what I'm wearing? Let me know what you mean about fit check, and I will respond. Oh, okay. Literally just wearing some shorts. I'm not wearing anything else. They're like basketball shorts and a shirt. Very plain Jane today. Chilling. So my hair, yes. My hair is natural. what what are you talking about? Oh, yeah, yeah. um so I what else? So yeah, so in terms of, my gosh. So in terms of like wanting to make sure that I'm healthy and having the ability to do all the things that I want to do, especially because I am aging, and um, making sure that I can travel. And if I want to go on a hike, I can go on a hike. And if I want to explore something, I can. Hold on one second. Um, anyways, so um yeah, but I was saying that in the context, so the topic really is doing what's best for you and your fitness journey, because um one of the things that I'm coming across, because I'm doing some research for a book, and one of the things that I'm coming across is there's just like a lot of advice um, on what you should do, what's good for you. And it like they're totally contradictory, which to the layperson, like I feel like that's something that can be semi overwhelming. I mean, even for me, it's semi overwhelming because you're like, okay, this literally they're professionals saying like contradictory things, right? And I I just came to the conclusion like you really have to just do what's best for you, and that's with everything. Like I that's with school and education. Like it's good to get advice from people, especially people who are knowledgeable, right? But like your experience might be different, especially when like for me, I'm neurodivergent. So like, even if I were to be doing a very similar thing to someone else, it could pan out totally different than, say, a friend of mine who is doing exactly what I want to do, right? So, um, I just urge you to keep that in mind as you go through your own journeys, whether it's health and wellness, whether it's work, school, or even entrepreneurship. It's not going to be the same for you. Um, but especially in the health realm, because especially as a woman, like, we tend to judge ourselves based on other people, and you're doing the same exact thing as someone else, and it's not happening for you. And I've come across that several times over with myself, like judging myself, saying like, okay, why doesn't my journey look the same way? And I've really had to, like, take a step back and say it's okay that it's not that way. Um, and that comes back to the weight loss thing. Like, I've had to grapple with that my entire life. Like, okay, I'm exercising way more than my friends, right? Or I'm um um eating right, yet my friends are eating either worse than me. You oftentimes it's worse than me, or they're um no, really, it's just usually, like, I'm not saying worse like absolutely horrific, but like, yeah, sometimes, like, I've, like, had friends when I played soccer, um we would eat like crazy amounts of food, and you would think like soccer is pretty active, and I just could not lose weight or whatever. And so, like, stuff like that, like, it can overwhelm anyone, but especially to me, like, for women, because of society and how our looks and our aesthetics are supposed to appease everybody else. And, of course, the older you get, the more you start to realize, like, oh, well, it is what it is. Like, not it is what it is. Like, you have to appreciate yourself. And it took me a very long time to get to that, right? Like, and still, like my arms, I've always had, like, I've been peculiar about my arms, and I have broader shoulders. Um, and so stuff like that, I'm I'm like, oh, I don't really like this about me. But then also I'm like, I'm strong as crap. Like, I'm way stronger than, you know, some guys. And I'm like, you have to appreciate, like, what your physique brings to the table. Like, um, find that appreciation for yourself. Um, because otherwise you're going to constantly second guess yourself. You're always going to be um around other people, and you're going to be like, oh, you're almost kind of like, oh, I don't want to be here because everybody looks, like, judging yourself. um and I can assure you there's someone that's going to find it beautiful, um even to the point where, like, they'll have you like, what, like, maybe I'm the one that's judging myself for not being beautiful, right? So, like, make sure that you are appreciating your body for all the things that it can do. um Make sure that when you are looking at your own journey, ooh, that you're that you're doing it for the reasons that you want to do it, not for someone else. Um, so like the journey that I feel like that I'm on is like I said, more of like a how do I feel from day to day, not necessarily about how much weight that I've lost, but how am I waking up in the morning? Um, do I feel energized? Um, those are the things that I am counting on now, as opposed to like say weight. And don't get me wrong, from a medical standpoint, um, your weight does I wouldn't say necessarily weight, but the fat that you have on you does have a bearing later down the line, right? When people are talking about, well, my knees are hurting, um, or um, your numbers in terms of your labs may not be where you want them to be. I think those are things that you should focus on as opposed to like your weight, right? If you feel like I don't want this number to determine how I feel about myself, then focus on things like your cholesterol. If your doctor is telling you like, and you can talk to your doctor about that, right? Like if you are someone who's like, I don't want to keep focusing on my weight, like you can talk to them about possibly putting something in your chart about that and maybe them rerouting and focusing more on your numbers. Hey, listen, this is where your numbers are. And I think that's like something that doctors also need to be trained on because there is like a big assumption about, um, you know, oh, it's your weight, it's your weight, your weight. And um, not taking into account other things that could be wrong with that person. Um, we're very quick in this society to look at someone and say, "Oh, well, if you just get that weight off of you, then everything will be fine," and that's not necessarily the truth. Um, So going back to like talking to your physician, I would be candid about that if that is an issue that you have. Um, if you would prefer to focus on your numbers in terms of like your blood sugar or um or your energy levels, those are things that you can definitely work on. Um, and then maybe naturally your weight will fluctuate as well. So you should be working on like, okay, what is my goal in terms of like exercising? Like, I'll be honest, for me, I haven't been doing the exercise. I did go for a walk with my mom the like last week, but like I haven't been consistent with my exercising. I have however been consistent with my food um and what I'm eating or putting in my body, um, which historically for me, that has not been the case. It's usually I'm a little bit, I can be either very strict about my weight. I mean, sorry, very strict about my diet to the point where it's like you can't maintain this for the rest of your life type thing, or um I can be very casual. And I feel like right now I've found like a decent balance between like, okay, making meals that um I'm enjoying, like I genuinely enjoy making them, but also like like eating them as well. Um, so that's been a fun thing to do. Um, but I can be more consistent on my exercising, right? Especially as I'm nearing 40, I want to think about flexibility. And I do like my stretches and like yoga and stuff like that. But I also want to maintain like doing some weight bearing exercises, um, making sure that I can do some lifting and stuff like that, to help me maintain my musculature, especially as like I do notice that I don't know how much. I don't know how much, but like I have noticed that I have lost weight because like there are things that I've tried on that fit differently, like way differently. There's a jacket that I got from my grandmother. And there's my bust size is probably like um a little bit smaller, but like it's like this much room that I still need. But like the arm, it fits comfortably, which I have large arms. Um, and then I tried on my white coat that fits very comfortably. And when I got here, it didn't. Um, and there was something else I tried. I tried on some pants um that I know I couldn't fit on, and they fit. So I have lost weight. I just don't know how much. Um and that's kind of how I determine like where my weight loss is kind of, or that I've lost something. I've definitely lost inches. And I could be doing a better job of maintaining that by like measuring myself. So I probably will start doing that. Um but I was more focused, at least from the start, on like just how I was feeling because I was feeling so in the dumps. Um, yeah, I was feeling like so blah, and I couldn't fit. Like I was just like between being stressed out and then, I just wasn't eating properly, and so I decided like let's do an overhaul since I'm here. I know a lot of people don't also have that privilege to do that, because of a lot of reasons, right? Um, and that's another point. Like, make sure you are doing something that's within your means, um, and um, take the good from the bad when you're trying to set up your own journey. Um, yeah, I think that's pretty much it. I know I said I was going to talk about nutrients. Oh, because I was watching this video or documentary, and that was the other reason I was like, you know what? Sometimes like not all advice. It was interesting because they were like talking about the Mediterranean diet, and I know everybody pushes the Mediterranean diet. And there were two doctors and they were like kind of questioning the Mediterranean diet and how like um this how yes, it's good to a certain extent, but um there's like several things. Like one guy was a cardiologist or something like that, and he was like essentially saying like no oil, like don't like even olive oil, especially for someone who has like a cardio issue, can be kind of detrimental. And these are like severe cardiac patients. And I was like, this is the first time, like, that was the first time I had ever heard someone say or discuss, like, not having olive oil. Like, in all of the literature, people are often talking about how olive oil is so good for you. But he was saying it in the context of also the oils that are in, when they do this research, and then when you actually look at like the parameters within that location. So, like, say, um, the people where they were doing the study, or the people in the Mediterranean that may be eating olive oil, their the actual olive oil it's a lot fresher, was the point of it. But fresher in the context is like it doesn't have as many preservatives, um, and they're kind of making it themselves. And what was the other thing he was saying? Oh, that it's not as much oil than other stuff. Like, it's very, their olive oil isn't really a lot of oil per se. And I'm still doing research on this because I literally just watched like half of this documentary. It was like a 4-hour documentary, and I watched half of it yesterday, and I was like, I am not going to agree or disagree with him, but I will say I've often questioned the fact that people are pushing the Mediterranean diet. Um, and this is just goes for all diets, right? Like, I feel like a large thing about diets is too much of anything can be bad, right? But, and this was another point that the physician had made, is that you tend to want more of just fresh fruits and vegetables, and that's the reason why a Mediterranean diet is actually so good for you. Um, versus it being like Mediterranean, it's like, no, it's we're all saying the same thing. Eat your vegetables, eat your fruits or whatever, very little meats. And then he was like pinpointing different research about like the Western diet, and even tracking people who come over to the US from these different countries who have the prevalence of like maybe prostate cancer and breast cancer is very low. And then they come to the US, and then all of a sudden it increases their chances of getting it. um, which says it's more of an environmental thing versus a genetic thing. So I thought that was interesting. Again, I probably will find the papers that they were talking about, and I probably will review, because at first I was watching it just for like leisure and just out of curiosity. But then like um I realized like I was starting to get like agitated, like the guys, partially because I was like, oh, yeah, it's nice to say that, but you guys have access to like you have access to fresh fruits and vegetables, and so do I. Like, I have access. I can literally walk to the nearest grocery store and get fruits and vegetables. Like, that is a privilege within itself, which I wanted to talk about next week. But like, that's a privilege on itself to be able to walk to a grocery store or to go into your backyard and have fresh vegetables and fruit. And that's not the case for many people in the US. And so relying upon canned vegetables, canned meats is just a natural reality for some people, because either the cost to travel to get the food and then come back, and then a week later it's bad, doesn't outweigh the benefits at that moment, even though it might, but like a lot of people are living from one week to the next week, right? So if I'm saying like, okay, I do not have money to say like, oh, my bananas went bad or this cucumber went bad and I'll just get another one next week, then I'm not going to do that. I'm going to get whatever I can get that I think is going to last a long time until I have, until the next time, because I don't have money to replace it. Um, and so I recognize the privilege in that, um, that I have access to a grocery store to even get it, that I have access to funds to even get more groceries. So, yeah. And that's again why I say, because I was like looking at these men, and I'm sure they're just peopling, right? Like they're doctors, but and I want to read like the articles that they were talking about or whatever, but one guy was like, "Oh yeah, like I'm a cardiologist and I just I got tired." No, yeah, he was a surgeon. He was like, "I got tired of being a surgeon and helping one person, and the next person would come in and it didn't help the next person." And then like stuff like that, like I think it's important to watch stuff like that for that reason, to recognize why it's important to have public health, because that's like more of a public health thing. um I'm not going to get my diatribe about that, but like that's that and that's the point of public health, is to look at populational health, to look at patterns and stuff like that, um, which is why it pisses me off when we have people in administration that shits on, public health and says like, oh, I'm just going to get rid of these people, um, that have spent their whole lives trying to figure out this stuff. But why did I say that? Oh, so I think the reason I was saying that is because like also those physicians are so far removed from what those people who are probably in their office is going through, right? Like if he's saying like, "Oh, I want to help like more people dealing with this," um then that's when you start looking at, well, why were you looking at maybe the next generation, saying like, okay, so what can we do for this generation differently to make sure that you're not in my office in 10 years or in someone else's office in 10 years doing the same things. I think that's where we lose, like we kind of lose out on the preventative measures to help people, because prevention doesn't bring in the dollars that we prevention doesn't bring in funding. It's the least expensive, right? But it doesn't bring in um, the money in the hospitals. It doesn't. So um, that's why I say like people will listen to like these gurus, but always kind of like think about it in a greater scheme. I feel like because it's like, oh yeah, like, oh, that's nice. Oh wow, yeah. So you got to see like, you went to a different country to see like what they were doing. That makes sense. Yeah. So I'm gonna sit here with my 7 kids that I have to hop on a bus, 2 buses. and you know, get them all dressed, hop on a bus, take them to the grocery store with me because I also don't have childcare. Don't worry about it. And, get all the food that I can get for $200 with my food stamps. All while people look down on me, but that's cool. That's cool. That's amazing. Um, and then the stress of knowing that I don't have enough money. Like I think that's more of the reality in the US than, going to another country and being like, oh, if we only did the same things that these people did. Well, also, their access to different stuff is different to our access because there aren't filters, or there aren't any it's not filters. It's more like there aren't rules and regulations surrounding where food can be placed. Um, for instance, like when I go to the Caribbean, sometimes there's just like a tree, like a mango tree, or whatever tree. There's way more like fruit trees just randomly placed somewhere than say here, where it's usually in someone's backyard, um, or there's none at all sometimes. So I think that's also a determining factor. And then also like looking at the space between meals, right? Like if you're someone who there's like scarcity in meals, and then also what you're doing throughout the day. So like essentially like the factors of stress and nutrients while you're trying to live should be a factor. Yes, you can look at like what somebody was doing in the US and like, oh, they get fed these meals. Yeah, but sometimes like those locations, they have communal meals. Here we don't even have that here. Like that's not a thing really. um so yeah, I don't know, I'm just saying like don't always take into account everything that you see online. Also, do your own research, and also like appreciate where you are. Like if you've progressed, um, even if it's a little progression, appreciate that. Um, for where you're at that moment. Don't compare yourself to anybody else. I know that was like a random diatribe, but like, yeah. So, anyways, until next time, see you guys. Bye.